There we go. Soften the feet, let the bones spread. Feel the sponginess of each foot on the ground. Pad of ball of the foot, the heel, the outside edge. What we have to do to a very, very small releasing to open up the thigh. It's a change in the hip joint to open up the thigh to let the outer edge engage. Try to think of this as something that happens through the whole of the structure, not just in the foot. We want the changes through here and the lower back, the softening of the tissue here to allow the pelvis to sit in, which rolls open the thighs and pushes the connection to the outside of the foot. That gives us a really stable center from which we can do the rest of the things we need to do. And, you know, it takes time to, from a busy day or from cooking our food or whatever we've been doing, just to arrive and to be in a place where we're doing very little. Or from the outside, it looks like we're doing very little. From the inside, we're really here with it. Connecting with the sensations and experiencing what our body's telling us. Activate the legs. Draw the mind up to the crown of the head. Draw the mind down. And with it, the body softens and releases. Let the mind keep going down underneath the ground. A pool underneath the feet, let that pool bubble up through the body. Bring the mind up through the body, drawing the pool with it all the way through to the crown of the head. When you get to the crown of the head, let the mind sink down all the way through the body. And as it passes the body softens, the body softens, the body softens and releases. Underneath the feet, gathering a pool, like a fountain rising up. And like a waterfall, releasing and melting down. Just keep this process of change taking place with the intention first and the body following. It's like the intention, if you have a fountain rising up with a little ping pong ball floating at the top of it, it's like the intention is the ping pong ball rising up. Or like a water table dropping down, ping pong ball resting on that water table, sinking with the body changes. So the mind and the body changes link together. Make sure the weight stays in the same part of the feet. I mean, the technical things now, that the hips and the knees soften, the hip joints soften. Seat the hip joints is the instruction, and open the lower back. Both on the way down and on the way up. Keep the hips seated without being locked and without being held. Blue here is to engage the outside edge of the feet and let the base be slightly broader than the feet because the outside edge is engaged to receive your weight. And one more thing. Moving on to the right foot, onto the left foot. Turning back to both feet and sinking and stabilizing again. Opening up, releasing. This is lowering the body. This is the lowest height, and this is the highest height. So we're working between two heights. And this is similar in the form, if you keep doing the exercise, it's similar in the form to the lowest position just before we issue, and the highest position where we start the form. So we're working between two heights, and we definitely know when we should be in a lower position in the form, and we definitely know when we should be in a higher position in the form. And in this exercise, we're working between those two heights. We don't want to end up here, because this isn't where we are in the form, just an inch down, inch up, inch down. Mountain moving up through the body, waterfall moving down through the body. Fountain moving up through the body, waterfall moving down through the body. Gathering under the feet, rising through the body, sinking through the body. Whatever changes of movement we make, turning, moving side to side, it doesn't destabilize us because we're constantly adjusting to the new position. But when all my body weight comes into this position, it's like the carriages of a train have a shock absorber and can receive the force of the other carriage coming into it. It's not like it's completely hard, so when they hit each other, it's a ricochet through. They absorb the force. And the changes we can make here and in the lower back and here for the weight of the arms and the shoulders are very small, fluid body changes that absorb the weight of the body and create forces, compressions, and realignments, if you like. So when the body comes across, more weight comes, there needs to be a realignment in the hip joints and the lower back that can receive that weight and transfer it into the foot, to the outside edge of the foot, because the weight's coming this way, it will go towards the outside edge of the foot and pass it through into the ground. The force of the weight of the body passed through the foot into the ground. When we come up, just enough contraction to move through the structure to move the body. When we release, we're passing the weight of the body through structure, and the tissue of the body is absorbing the force of the weight. So the big mistake to lock the leg and move onto it and turn around a stationary leg. It feels more pressure to drop onto the leg and turn around. It feels like there's stability. It's not the stability we want. The stability we want is freedom to keep releasing and changing. Keep releasing and keep changing a fluid deep into the hip joints, deep into the shoulders, a fluid change. Exercise number 2. exercise number 3. And this one, there's no going down. We're staying at the upper level. We're kind of halfway between the two. We're not fully down and we're not fully up. We're kind of halfway. We're staying at that level. So the waist is just turning. And the first thing with this exercise is you will notice if you turn too far, you will start to tighten up somewhere. Maybe it's the lower back stops changing. Maybe it's tension in the ankle. And feel where that spot is. Maybe the foot feels like it's being twisted by the movement of the body. You're going to feel where that spot is and just come back a little bit. Don't quite go that far. So when you turn this way and the waist is going this way and you're sinking down to this leg, just control how far you turn by your ability to soften the tissues. Not your ability to do a yoga posture where you just turn into as far as you can go. I know not all yoga is like that, but some yoga is like that, where it's movement-led, putting deep stretches into the body. We're not looking for that. We're looking for change and fluid change. Every single movement we make, we're looking for a release and a change that allows us to move further. You'll get to a place that you understand and know because of what you feel. Because of the sensations in the body, you'll know I mustn't go any further than that, because if I do, I'm going to start locking myself up. These are the places where if someone pushes into you in push hands, you've got nowhere to go because you're locked. You've gone to your maximum range where things start to, the range of movement starts to get smaller inside the body as you get to your maximum external turning. We want to stop so there's still room to fluidly change and come back again. 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 Then we start to get a really nice watery movement that we just start to bring the arms in. Governed by what's happening here. And if this movement stops and goes tick tock, I know to try and make it looser. So it's much more this sort of movement. Once you've got the pattern of the exercise, you can explore within it according to your own feeling sensation of what you can let go, and how when you move to a certain position, things don't tighten. Things keep opening and softening. The fourth listening exercise. Lifting for this one to our top height, releasing to our lowest height, which is here. So again, working with this 1 inch height of coming up and sinking down. Bring the mind up through the body, out to the fingertips, and down. As we press onto the feet and onto the ground and into the hips, soften and change. Receive the weight of the body Let the weight spread down to the outside edges of the feet. Open. Roll the fingertips together. Again, taking the weight to the outside edges of the feet. Soften the shoulder girdle. Let the shoulder girdle press in as well, out through to the fingertips. Bring the thighs as level to the ground as you can, and then sit up. Let the shoulders hang, let the weight of the arms hang, let the head hang. And coming up. The fifth loosening exercise. As narrow as possible. Not shoulder width. Not completely narrow. Somewhere between the two, with the outside edge of the foot straight ahead. The hips as square as possible. Draw back. Stay on the same height. Sink as you come into both feet. This is the lowest height. Expand the back knee, coming up slightly. The body's lifting slightly. It's not going forwards. The body's lifting slightly. The force is rising. But at the same time, you're sinking into the front foot. So you're drawing back, staying on the same height. You're lowering as you come into the 50-50. You're changing the connection to the front foot while the back foot expands. And as a result of that, you're coming up slightly. Back to your highest point. You stay at your highest point and sit straight back. You drop down an inch as you come into both legs. And keep the weight trickling into the front while you expand the back leg. Draw back. Find both feet. As soon as you start coming forwards, your front leg is part of the stabilizing. Continue into the front leg while the back leg expands. Draw back. Find both feet. Expand the back. Draw back. Slide in the ball. Push out the heel. And the other side. Outside edge square. Hips square. Draw back. Try not to go over the back foot, over, so you're going diagonal. I'm going across to the front foot, I'm going back to the back foot. Try and stay in the center. When you sit back, try and stay in the center. This means that you're not, if you move, you'll arrive over the back foot, you'll go diagonal. If you just move, you'll be over the back foot for stability, because your body weight will be stacked over your back foot. You need to melt through the body while you're moving backwards. This gives you stability the whole time you're moving backwards. Same thing when you go forwards. If you just glide forwards, the only way you can get stable is by being over your front foot. Not what we're looking for. We're looking to sink towards the front foot, so that the stability from the front foot is there for me every centimetre I move forwards, and so I end up really stable. So I can expand the back knee and draw back. Remember, I'm not just moving, I'm sinking while I move. This is exactly the same process as this movement of the form. I'm not just going down, I'm releasing through the body at the same time. They're two fundamentally different things. Just going down, my feet don't get stable. My feet feel like they haven't got any pressure in them other than just the simple weight of my body. When I melt through the body, even though I'm not physically going down, my feet feel more stable. Combine the two together, I go down and I sink through the body. My feet don't feel as pressed onto the ground, but I know I'm fully connected. Here, in fifth loosening exercise, sink down through the body. Don't go down. Now go down as I come into the center. Then expand the back leg, soften the front hip, sink through to the front leg. You see, I'm changing the movement and the forces are changing in this exercise. It's complicated because it's not just move. It's not just drop and sink, and it's not just do something in the middle. There's like a fluid pressure that you need to cultivate. And by doing the exercise in the way prescribed and looking for the right things, it's possible to find a fluid pressure which doesn't block you in the center, doesn't get tight and hard in the center, it just changes to the front foot, fluidly changes to the front foot so the back can expand. Sit back. So one of the ways we can play with that is in bow stance, push position against a wall. I want to sink down and lower myself into both legs. Drop my shoulders and connect. Here's the push position. If I've done it well, when I expand my back leg, I will immediately feel more force of the fingers against the wall, without having to activate the arms. So my suggestion is let there be space between the body and the arms. Let them be forward, not here, let them be forward. 90-degree in the arm with the elbow forward, not directly beneath here. So the arms want to be in this position, they're slightly out. So this is like the skin of a ball. And as you move in, as your center moves in here, as your center moves in, you're activating the skin of the ball. You're not pushing into the wall, but all the slack is taken out. So it feels very light on the wall, very deep in the ground, and very connected. So as soon as the back leg expands, it can push you back. Imagine you're pushing yourself into a beach ball and you just throw yourself off. If your hands are too soft, if your hands are too hard, places will get locked. You want your connection to be fluid, like the skin of the beach ball. You want your hips to be soft and sunk, the outside edge of the feet connected, the hips seated. Expand the back knee and immediately feel force in the hands. If you can, take that force away by softening your shoulders more, and then expand the back knee a bit more. Feel more force in the fingertips, take it away. Feel more force in the fingertips, take it away. So it's a constant, add a bit of pressure in the body, do something about releasing it. Add a bit of pressure, do something about releasing it. Add a bit of pressure, do something about releasing it. Eventually, this process gets smooth. When we move in the form, moving our weight forwards adds a bit of pressure. release it. Move forward, add a bit of pressure, release it, add a bit of pressure, release it. Can you see it's like a stepped process? As you change, as you physically move, you generate tension, which you have to release. You generate tension, which you have to release. So you're using your own body weight as you move around to generate forces. We don't want those forces to block us. So feel it, release it, move a bit more. Feel it, release it, move a bit more. Feel any tension, release it. Move a bit more. Feel any tension, release it. So you're constantly rebalancing and realigning your forces in your body. Let's go through the form. I'm just going to do a time check. First move of the form, we're going to lower ourselves to our working height, lowest height, and at the same time melt through the body. Increasing the pressure on the ground, and as we bend the knees and seat the hips, we take that pressure away slightly. So we're still very stable, but we don't feel a massive increase in pressure in the feet. It's available for us as we pass it to the right. Sink down through the body as we turn, finding the outside edge of the foot, adjusting the fluidity of the hips to settle, to receive the weight of the body. Rebound and settle back down. The settling down is opening up the thighs, letting the pelvis sit in, taking the connection to the outside of the feet. Pressing down. Activate the legs, bring the mind up. Release. Shoulder girdle. Imagine you're pressing into a wall. Back leg expands, the hands press into the wall at the mat. Find the front foot. Be comfortably balanced and organized before you turn. Step. As soon as you move in, you're connecting to your front foot. Squaring. Connecting to both feet. Expand the back knee. Connection to the hands. Find the front foot. Make sure you're fully released over the front foot turn. As soon as you move in, you are finding your connection in your front foot. Square. Sink to your lowest position, seating your hips, opening your lower back, taking the weight to the outside edge of the feet, pressed onto the ground, small expansion from the back leg. Draw back. Like the fifth loosening exercise, as you draw back, don't move over your back leg. Sit straight back. Left hand palm up, one fist in the abdomen. As you turn, you drop the hand to the hip joint. This is breaking someone's base. Sinking. Continue the turn. Palm down. Turn back. Find both feet. Arrive in the center. Receive the weight of the body through the legs. Expand the back leg to press. Pull back. Sink down, find both legs. Absorb the weight of the body. Expand back leg. Sit back. Don't turn until you feel fully grounded and upright and released. Turn. Keep turning. Same thing applies. Find your balance over the right foot before you turn. As soon as you step, sinking into both feet. Loading both legs. Receiving the weight of the body in the hips and the shoulders connect. Expand the back knee to both hands. Both hands. Shoulder stroke. Find both feet. Make sure that sinking doesn't stop. Sink in, keep releasing, keep letting go and opening the joints. Press into the floor, back leg expands, turn. Shoulder stroke. Wipe the arm. Right crane spreads wings. Half turn, right palm up in the hip, right palm down, turn back and step. Find both feet. Keep receiving the weight of the body deep into the hip joints. The shoulders receives the weight of the arms, pressed onto the ground, back leg expands. Play guitar. Brush left knee. Deep into the center. Keep changing. Keep settling down. Keep allowing the force to press you onto the ground and don't get in the way of it. Release it back through. Sit back. When you've got your upright quality of connection, turn. So light adjustment. Your back. Think finding both legs. Press in. Expand. Draw back. Stay at the same height. Sink in. Slight compression as you draw in and expand. Sit back. Stay in the center. Don't drift over to your left foot. Stay in the center as you sit back. Turn. Stay in the center. Don't block the movement in a structured posture. Let the posture be fluid. Let it change. Let it absorb your weight. And then expand. Draw back. Turn. Turn jab. Punch on your arm. Open up on the right. Step behind. Change hands as you sit back. Square. Turn open. Square. Step behind. Sit back square. Turn open. Turn back. Sit back. Square. Turn open on the left. Turn back. Step behind. Sit straight back. Turn open. Turn square. Step behind. sit straight back. Last one, turn open, turn back. Okay. We're going to go through step back to repulse monkey. And I want to highlight a few key points in it. So have a look. The stepping is parallel. The stepping is shoulder width. As you step, the thigh is vertical to the ground. So when you put your foot behind, don't see my thigh now is leaning backwards. You don't reach, so your thigh moves. Let your thigh be vertical, hanging, and wherever the foot goes down, that's your step. So if you see my feet, because my knee is vertical below my heel, this is quite a long way, the whole distance of my shin, quite a long way behind. So I'm not stepping slightly backwards, I'm not overreaching, but I am a good half foot. So between my left heel and my right toes, there's a good half foot distance in here. And then when I sit back, look at my left heel, my right heel. My heel's still up, my heel's still up, my heel's still up. My weight isn't in it yet. As I land, my left toes come up. So I take a step, my thigh's vertical, put my toe down, my weight's coming back, I'm not in the foot yet, my weight's partly in the ball of the foot, now it's in the ball in the middle of the foot, I'm coming onto the heel, and as I sink and settle, my opposite toes come up. So when I step back in a straight line, I'm not landing on the back foot until I arrive. So let's just do some stepping where it's shoulder width apart, it's not narrow, it's shoulder width apart, the thigh is vertical, sinking to step, glide, looking to put that back foot down. As I arrive on it, the front toes come up. And the feet are parallel. We're not stepping back with the toes splayed open. Let's have a go at trying some stepping first. When you sink to step, sink. As you arrive on your back foot, your front toes lift up, just the weight of the heel on the ground. Try and combine it so as you arrive 100% in the back, you're 0 in the front. As you arrive 100% in the back, you're 0 in the front. Being 0 in the front foot means you can simply take the foot off the ground. Don't step back at an angle, step back straight. Draw your weight back. As you arrive in the back foot, the front toes peel off. Thighs vertical. You can look down just to check. Waist is square. Sit back. The waist doesn't turn. Waist stays square. Sit. Hips don't. If you reach back with your foot, you'll turn your hips open. Keep your waist square. Sit back, keep your waist square. Front toes come up, keep your waist square, draw back. As you arrive, your front toes come up. As you arrive in the back foot, your front toes come up. That's the first thing to get right. Any thoughts or questions with that stepping, please? Good. From punch under elbow, the first turn, we're quite familiar with this move, drops my hand palm up onto the hip joint. This is half the turn. The second half of the turn, the body keeps turning and the hand goes out palm down. Make sure your shoulder doesn't lift, your arm stays connected. It's as if somebody is doing this to your arm. It's as if your arm is following the movement of something underneath it to lift it. So it stays connected. Just the one hand, open, turn. Turn back, fold in one fist from the ear. Turn open. Turning finishes at the same time as the hand arrives, palm down. When I turn back, this hand turns over. These fingers are one fist from the ear, and they're looking into the palm. So when I move here, when I turn open, this hand stays exactly where it is. When I turn back, it stays exactly where it is. Let's try. Punch under elbow. Half turn, palm on the hip joint, on the quad. Full turn, palm down. Turn back, left fingers turn over, right comes in. Now I'm back facing the front. Step behind, thigh vertical, toes down, shoulder width. As I pass the weight, the hands change, the front toes come up. Still facing the front. Make sure you don't reach with the back toes. Your thigh comes parallel, toes go down, change hands. This hand stays where it is, it just drops onto the center line. If you look at this curtain in the background, this hand by my ear stays where it is and I sit away from it. So this hand is simply dropping onto the center line. It's pretty much doing what you do when you do shoulder stroke. This hand is coming in. As you sit back, this hand is being drawn in with, as you move, this hand comes with you into the center. From the center, as you turn, it drops to the quad. As you continue to turn, it opens out palm down. When you turn back, it folds. The other hand turns over. Now the fingers are looking into this hand. Then you step with the thigh in line, put the toe down, drop onto the back foot, hands change place, front toes come up. I was taught this move, step back to repulse monkey. I was taught that this hand represents the mirror and you're looking at your monkey mind. You're looking at your monkey mind in this hand, and this hand steps back and pushes that monkey mind away. I don't know how useful that is. Obviously, it's got martial applications of holding something and striking with the weight of the body sinking back rather than pushing out. It's got martial applications for, could be an arm lock as well here. This could be holding an arm, this could be moving into the elbow. Beyond that, it's got these allegorical ideas where the name of the posture comes from, step back to repulse monkey. Done quickly, I've seen it repel a few, kind of this sort of attack that comes 3 punches in a row is 1, 2, 3, this type of movement as well. Depends on your interest in what you want to get out of the posture, really. My perspective is look at the body changing. keep it changing as you move. The first way we teach it is to be very clear that it doesn't blur. By that I mean it's 4 stages of movement. Turn open, turn back square, 2, step, change, square. 1, turn open, 2, turn back, 3, step, 4, sit right back. Turn open, turn square, stay square when you step, 3, move straight back, 4. I think it's one of the hardest moves in the form. But I'm interested to know what you think. And if this is how you've done it before, different, please let me know. Because my repulse monkey's changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's much better when you've got the count of 4.
Yeah.
You know, the last way you did it, because it's easier to remember the different parts like that and build it up correctly.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, it all seems to mix into one.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually it can mix into one.
Yeah.
But you want to be really clear that you're not, when it does start to overlap and become a bit more wave-like, it's a deliberate thing and not an unconscious thing. So it's much better practicing it a little bit more mechanically, if you like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure each of those is accurate, because then you'll be able to tell. For example, have you turned too much at the beginning and then you haven't got much turn left to lift the arm? So if you can get the body coordinated well, so just enough turn to drop the hand to the hip, the rest of the turn to lift it, coordinate it so it comes back in. You can start to see where you're overcooking it or not more easily if you can work to those 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also start to see if you're pushing the front hand out as you go back, which some people do. And you can also work very much with your stability in the back foot when you sit back. It's a very deliberate step that we don't do elsewhere in the form, sitting back, so that your weight arrives, your connection arrives in the back foot at exactly the same time that your structure and posture arrive. We'd kind of delay that stability for as long as possible in the stepping. Any more thoughts with that one?
Hi, hi.
Yeah, Olivia.
In terms of the timing of the stepping, I've always felt it easier to step when I change direction, when the rotation of the hips changes direction. You see what I mean? So you were talking earlier.
Yeah, try and keep it square and then step. So you're not using the turning of the hips to step with this one.
No.
Try and drop the weight of the thigh and use that sinking of the weight so you've opened here, you close here. You sinking this thigh to step. So it's not to do with turning of the hips to step. If you turn the hips, you'll put the foot at a different angle. Right. So if I turn my hips this way and I step at the same time, the foot will turn with the turning of the hips. So I'll be stepping. If I try and do that, I'll step at the wrong angle. For this particular one, we're learning something different, which is to drop the weight of the thigh and use that to create a step back. So here, to drop the weight of the leg and evade something backwards. So you're definitely moving backwards from something. an attack or in a different way than we normally move. Normally when we turn the waist, like we fold in here, this turning gives us the step. This turning of the waist folds in the arms. This turning of the waist gives us a step. But if you look, my foot's now at 90 degrees to the other one. So this turning keeps my thigh in relation to the hip, but because my hip's turning, my foot turns into a new direction. With this one, I want to keep the thigh dropped, and this keeps my foot straight. Drop the thigh. This keeps my foot straight. So it's like your thigh moves your foot in the same way as your thigh moves your foot here, but this is straight back. You have to open up the hip joint, let the weight of the thigh drop. Let any tension here go, and the thigh can drop, and with it you'll find the step. Thigh drops. Step. To play with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll just have to experiment with it.
Yeah,
because
different way of moving.
I've been doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Jim, you had a thought there.
Just, I find this is quite good at feeling my spine being straight, especially where I turn here.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm able to correct something anyway. I noticed something wrong.
Is that turn any different from any of the other moves where you turn? Because essentially it's very similar to roll back.
Yeah, maybe. I think perhaps because the arms are coming up. I don't know. I don't know why, but it just feels very often like I'm able to correct a sort of stooped kind of neck here. I just feel it. I feel it stretch a little bit, perhaps.
Okay. Check how far you're moving. And check at what point it starts to feel pulled. And it may give you a clue as to how far you need to turn. I just need to change the view so I can see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's difficult because the light's not great, is it? But so you kind of you're folding the waist here, aren't you, when you turn to the right or turn to the left?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's different in this one. In this one, your head stays to the front. So
Yeah.
when you turn the body, your head stays to the front. With the other ones we turn, we sometimes move the head with the body.
Yeah, maybe that's why I feel it more.
Yeah, but this when we do the third loosening exercise, we keep the head to the front and do the same sort of, the body turns, the shoulders turn, but the head stays to the front. So we get a different pull through the neck. Right, and with this one here, the head stays to the front rather than turning with the body. If we did this, it would feel different. If we turned the body and the head together, it would feel different.
Yeah.
So the range of turning is probably limited by the way the head stays forward.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of a twist in the neck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not such a bad thing.
No, it seems good. It feels good.
Yeah, you just mustn't overcook the turning.
Yeah.
If you overcook the turning, turn too far or too fast, it'll pull on that. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a good thing. You know, I think it helps me relax my neck.
Yeah, great.
I'm able to notice it, you know, that there's perhaps some tension there holding my neck in.
Yeah. I've got this subtle theory, you know, and it's not so subtle really, but you can't do Tai Chi wrongly. Because if you do Tai Chi and you notice something, you know, if you do it in a gross way and you notice a pain in the body or you notice something that you could say is wrong, actually, if you're noticing it, it's a good thing. It gives you a chance to work with it. So I don't think you can do Tai Chi badly because it's always going to be a little bit out somewhere, you know. So you just got to notice start to notice why certain things pull or certain things are tight, and then start to make some adjustments to it. I'm just trying to watch everyone move now. No, Olivia, turn back before you step. Turn back completely square, and then step, and then change hands. No, don't step at that point. Don't step as the hand comes over. Yeah. Open up. So open to the side. Turn back square. Fully square. Now step. Now move back. No, don't turn open until you're fully on the back foot. So turn open. Turn back square. Step. Move straight back, and only when you're fully on the back foot, turn open. So you're really clear that each of those things, one thing finishes before something else starts. You're going to hate me after this class. Different ways of doing things, you know. It's a difference between training with Patrick and training with Jen. Jim, when you let the hand go out, when you let this one open up, you're like you're bowling, right? Like if you've ever been bowling, like you're bowling, like a bird opens up its wing here, and when you turn back, it folds in. Don't try and call the traffic on this way.
Yeah.
Right? Let it out and let it fold back, rather than going round something. Let it out and let it come back. Let it out and really try and get to your maximum distance. Not tight in a tight way, but really let that light fill up your whole arm like an elephant's trunk and turn it back. So it just folds in from the elbow. There isn't a kind of this sort of movement. Because what you'll find is you'll move your arm into a position where it's tight. You don't want to move your arm into a position where if someone pushed on it, it would be locked. It's got to be really free to change. Rather than in these movements start to tighten up the muscles to bring the arm up, and that'll start to lock it. So just be a bit wary of that one. Yeah.
Can I ask something, Luke?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The arm that's not folding,
Yeah.
is that staying straight ahead with the face? You know,
Yeah.
you're looking ahead, so that the arms.
This this one stays palm down here, and it turns palm up as this one comes in. So this is rotating around this axis between the middle finger and the elbow. When you open up, it doesn't go forwards, doesn't reach out. It doesn't go forward this way. It's not like you're opening your arms up. This one stays where it is. And when you turn back, it stays where it is. So imagine someone's got your wrist and you're neither trying to push them nor pull them away. So this hand just stays where it is. All that happens is it rolls over. So if someone was holding onto your wrist lightly, they wouldn't feel any push or pull. So when you turn open, your hand doesn't go forward, just stays where it is. Your shoulder comes closer to your arm. And when you turn back, your shoulder moves away from your arm, but your arm stays where it is. If you practice against the wall, here, punch under elbow, your hand stays where it is. If you look at the distance from my hand to the wall here, when I sit back, it stays the same distance to the wall. This hand drops straight down on a straight line, straight down. And when I turn back, this hand moves off the wall and drops onto the center line. So this hand moves quite a long way. This hand moves straight down. Does that help, Christine?
Yeah, it does. I think mine was moving in the direction of the body, so it was keeping alongside the other arm.
Yeah, yeah. Try and keep it still, as if someone's just got your wrist in place, and
Yeah.
you're not trying to change or move them at all.
Yeah.
You neither do you drop it, nor do you. It just stays exactly where it is. There's that rotation around that axis between the elbow and the middle finger. Okay. Play with that. See how you get on, and see if I'd expect there to be, you know, some more things to explore with that one as well. But play with that and see how you get on. See how it rubs with what the way you already do it. Good, going to leave it there for tonight. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Luke.
I will send you the recording, and we'll see you next week. Next week's the last one before Christmas. So we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Luke. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Luke. See you next week.
Yeah. Bye for now.